everybody.
Hey.
Hi,
Hey
hi.
there.
Don't mind Jeannie.
Oh, you're doing it.
Sun never sets on a badass.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to respond.
And I quote.
You know what? I want to respond to that, but it's just going to create work for myself in editing, so I'm just going to stop.
Sure,
no, leave it in.
Yep,
So
yep.
good.
No, I'm going to say, are you still high?
Oh,
High on life.
hi on the
pretty-
sunshine.
I'm pretty high after my
All the
class. I'm
vitamin
like,
B12
woo.
happening.
What's that?
Vitamin B12.
I think I'm the only one that actually took drugs, so I get to be high.
Honey.
Jessica has a
Ear infection.
ear infection.
You know, like
Well,
you get.
let me-
Like you get as a 47-year-old.
I'm like, wait, you're 47?
Yeah.
Sure am.
Did you not know she's 47?
I do, but I just never believe it.
She thinks I'm a baby.
I think we're all 35.
Oh, my
Okay.
God.
All right.
That's an
Here
age
we go.
I would go back to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, if someone said you get to do some years over, would you want to go to 25 or 35? I'd go to 35 in a heartbeat.
35.
Wouldn't really want to redo the 20s.
I think as far back as I would be willing to go
He's always wanted to be a gangster?
would be
Want to be a baller.
Would
shot
be-
caller.
32.
32.
Yeah, 32. Anything prior to 32,
Yeah.
I was just
No thanks.
I'm going to go back and
not
blank,
amazing.
blank up.
Wasn't my most amazing self.
That's when I fell in love with you.
At
Pre-32.
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 It's like I loved your chaoticness.
She wasn't that chaotic.
No, I just would make really bad decisions mostly. You know.
That led
It
you
all led
right
you-
here, right
It
right
all
here.
led you to here.
Dun.
How bad could they all be if they all led to this exact spot?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't go back and change them, but I don't need to do them again either. They can stay right where they are in
Right.
perfect timing. I would not go back and do them again.
How's everyone? First of all, studio audience, happy Equinox.
Hey, studio
Happy-
audience.
Yeah.
That's what this is dropping. But,
Hey, Wi-Fi.
primarily what we're experiencing is the eclipse. How's everyone's eclipse going so far?
You know,
Yeah.
I think that we had some pre-eclipsing scenarios because we need a new bed
Do we do?
Can we're going to need to add on to that, everyone.
and we need a new stove.
Technically, you don't need a new bed. You need a new bed frame.
It's true.
Uh-huh.
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 Well, I mean, yeah. If we had to purchase a frame and a mattress, we don't have to. It's just the frame. So
Just the
let's
frame.
Be thankful.
It's true.
There's so many ways.
We have a mattress on the floor right now.
Yeah.
Like we
They're
live in a
rocking it
frat
out like my
house.
15-year-old.
Like you're 25.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I'm nothing but thankful because if that happened 4 hours earlier, it would have been 4 in the morning. And
we
it would
just-
have just been horrible to deal with.
Let the listeners know that you guys were just sitting in bed having coffee.
Yeah,
I
we
was
were
waiting.
literally doing
I was
nothing
waiting for it.
Yeah.
like rambunctious.
They're like, I hear all of it. Just so everyone knows that's listening, I hear all of you.
We were not. We were not.
This is how I know the universe has my back, for lack of a better phrase, because of the time that it happened, 8 a.m., right?
Yeah.
And neither of us were holding the coffee that I
we
just brought
Oh, it's
upstairs.
so-
I was going to say
Both-
that's
So
really
good.
the key. That's
Both
the key.
cups-
That's the magic.
Yeah, that's the magic.
Both cups were on our respective bedside tables and not all over the place when we fell through the wall almost, or the floor. So those two facts alone, I'm
That's
just
one of
like,
my fears, just so you know.
I'm
Falling
just
through the
so
floor.
grateful. I really can't stop
why I don't
smiling and
take
thinking
baths.
about it. Like, I'm still just like taken aback.
I don't know if I'm at smiling and thinking about it level right now. I'm like, we don't have a bed. We have a mattress on the floor.
Oh my God. You were just really hung up about this.
I just can't.
You've been
we
having
also
dreams
just-
about it, I heard.
Can we bring
Yes.
it back to what Sabrina just said about how she doesn't take baths because she's scared of falling through the floor?
Did you watch the Money Pit
Money
too many
Pit?
times?
I do. I did see that show. I didn't really relate it to that, but yeah.
I don't take baths because you're sitting in your filth and it's disgusting.
Wow.
Talk about it.
It's okay in a hot tub.
I think it's okay if you put some Epsom
There's
salt.
so many.
there's
you put some
other
Epsom
people.
salt
There's
in
so
there.
many chemicals.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I just need to put chemicals in my
Just put
bathtub
some
and then I'll be like,
Chemicals in your bathtub.
I'm still,
Wide open space.
I still feel great. Very thankful.
So anyway, back to the eclipse.
Right.
I think that we got the eclipse shadow, which is where we experienced these two things that
Sure.
now our problems need to be solved.
Yep.
And also the theme of eclipse is like, let things go. If they need to go, we got to let them go. We're going to let that bed go. Letting it go.
Letting it go.
Can I ask how your communication has been throughout this process? Because
Well,
we also have Mercury retrograde. So
I
how's that
have
been
been
going?
my usual amazing self.
Oh.
I've been great at it. I don't know if yours could be better.
Wow. I don't. Are we talking about our communication specifically about
I don't know
the
what we're
bed,
talking about anymore.
Or are we
I'm
talking
scared.
about
I'm scared.
the mansplaining that Matt did about sleeping this morning?
Was that today? Because you couldn't sleep.
He's like, I'm like, I couldn't sleep last night, and which is not uncommon for full moon for me. Like, I'll wake up lots of times in the middle of the night in a full moon, and then it was the eclipse. But like, I'm like, yeah, I think it was the eclipse, and he then proceeds to explain to me how to fall asleep.
Oh,
Thank
which
you.
is
He's like,
hilarious because you're actually
This
pretty
is
good
what
at
you
falling
do.
he's
asleep.
like, you just lay there
Just lay
and
there.
follow your breathing. And I'm
Follow
like,
your breath
I
flow.
am gonna squeeze your face
That's
right
not
now.
what-
all the insomniacs in our audience hate you right
I
now.
know.
First of all, that's not what I said. If we're going to quote me, quote me properly.
I was paraphrasing.
When I have trouble falling asleep, I can often be, this is because my thoughts can't stop. Like, I just think about one thing and the other, and then I suddenly stop myself and say nothing, and then just refocus listening to my breathing. And more often than not, that lulls me to sleep.
You go into your empty box.
Yeah. It's like a meditation, but instead of any
Anyway.
drushi or any sort of mantra, it's just my breathing. And that's worked for me. You know what? Any other good idea I have today is not our idea. I'm keeping it to myself.
I don't believe you, but I would say that our communication through the bed episode has been really great.
Yeah.
Matt and I do this thing where we like tilt the panic. Like one person takes it on,
Okay.
and the other person is just the figure outing person, and we kind of volley it back and forth.
Sure. Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I was like freaking out about the bed, but I was definitely like, I have to find another bed. And until I do, we're sleeping on the floor.
Right. And I guess in my head, when you say you have to find a new bed, that doesn't mean we don't have one and we can't. Like, we have to figure out somewhere else
Right.
to sleep. We still have the same mattress. We can sleep at night in our bedroom.
Right.
We're not
So, like, at
sleeping
the
on
end
the
of the
couch.
day, that's the worst thing. Yes, it's a pain in the butt. And
Yeah.
yes, we're going to figure it out. But it's not like we can't use it. It's
Right.
like when the dishwasher broke. We're like, oh, well, at least we can still get
Hand
them
wash
wet.
your dishes.
Yeah, that's like there was
Dishwasher's
no
fine right now.
So
Yeah.
this is the third, right? So we're done.
Dishwasher,
Third
thing.
thing.
Dishwasher, stove, bed.
Yep.
Great.
So we're done, and that's good. And fortunately, like, I don't have the experience with him as a couple who share all finances. Like, there's no separation between any of it. We don't even like get all feathers ruffly around purchases like that either. Like, it's like,
Right.
this is a thing we're going to do.
Yeah.
It is highly likely he would spend less money on a bed than I would.
Oh, given.
And you still don't like,
Darn it.
you don't like argue or like, why do you need this bed? Why, like, he's
Well,
just like, that's the bed you want. That
It
sounds
would be
great.
an
Outsider's
it would
perspective.
be an ever going thing with Blair. I'd just be like, get whatever.
You guys don't seem to really argue about finances, like in general. Like, I feel like you both make like personal purchases, and that's fine, and you both make joint decisions, and that's
Yep.
fine. And so, like, yeah,
True.
you guys seem to have a really solid.
It's true.
Yeah.
We're like,
Keeping it
we're not
together.
fighting about this.
Well,
Yeah.
it helps. I mean, as far as personal
Mom and Dad
spending
are
go,
not fighting, Jess. So
I don't spend a whole lot, so you can spend.
So she can spend.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fine. Really. I mean,
ladies, get you a man
I-
that doesn't spend a whole lot.
I don't spend a lot, and I'm not like, oh, I can't spend what I want because you spend it. It's not really.
Yeah,
that
we
way.
don't really go there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you tend to spend more money on hobbies, and
Yeah.
I like that's your splurge, and
Yeah.
and I spend a lot more money on textiles.
text is that what we're calling it now?
We're definitely. I mean,
I love that.
that's definitely.
Textiles.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because it's not just clothes.
Right.
It's ridiculous. It's rugs. It's sheepskins.
Yeah.
It's towels.
I love all
it's
of those
really
things.
beautiful tablecloths.
Light
it's
me
like,
up.
I would say that you just spend more money on beauty. Let's just call it beauty.
My beauty.
Everything.
Judy's got a beauty budget.
I have a beautification.
Speaking of
budget.
hobbies.
An inside beauteous.
Speaking of hobbies, Matt.
Yeah.
I was at a stop on my way in today for construction, and I look over, and what do I see? Person out in their yard golfing.
Yeah.
Just getting those drives in.
Getting those
Funny
reps
you
in.
would say that today,
I
Sabrina.
love it so much. So what do? As I'm like, la la la, satanama, satanama. I roll down my window. I'm like, you doing your thing over there.
Chatting up the golfer?
Yeah, we did. We made a connection.
Cheering.
You know what golfers love that you do?
Probably
Talk
that.
to them when they're
Talk to
golfing.
them when they're golfing.
He got the biggest smile on his face, and
It's just practice. It's
Probably
Doing
his
your
wife
thing.
is like,
Just
"Oh, are you doing that thing again? Seriously, it's a time already."
probably
So a pretty lady drives by in an SUV and says, "Go, you go, boy,
You go, you
golfing.
do that golf
Look at
swing."
you.
He was happy.
It's like, yeah, look at me.
Yeah, he did. He like. You ever see it like a grown man or anyone really where
Get,
they're
like, a
like
big old grin?
A big old grin. I'm like, you are just a little boy.
Yeah.
We're literally just a little boy in that body.
little boy playing
Yeah.
with your
It's cute.
golfing things.
It's cute.
That's what we do.
Did you swing the club a couple
I
times
did.
today?
Well, because I went to the course yesterday and finally got the membership for the year. And the guy
Nice.
said, he's like, yeah, driving range is open and we'll be open tomorrow at 10. I was like, okay. So I had the wish of showing up at like 9:45, 9:50 before it's open and like being the first one there. And I was just going to be a single. So I was like, I can just go and be out of everyone's way. But it turns out there were a lot of people that had the same idea.
The same idea.
So I just went to the driving range and then practiced putting. But it was really nice to be out there because it was warm. I mean, it's nice. And it
Yeah.
was nice to move around and swing. Yeah.
Hmm.
It was great.
Love that.
Yeah, so that was some eclipse chaos, but that's not what we're here to talk about
It isn't.
because that's not when this episode's coming out. It is finally spring.
Yay!
Yay!
I love it.
It's my
Thank-
favorite
Praise the
season.
goddess.
We
For
don't
spring.
even celebrate spring. It's just like, thank God. Oh my Lord. It's about
Well, you know what's
time.
interesting is I saw someone had posted on social media, and it had to have been a local friend, because it was a Doppler radar image of New York State
Uh-huh.
in 1993,
Oh wow.
on these dates.
Okay.
and it was the blizzard of
Snowstorm?
93.
Oh, get
Oh,
out.
wow.
It was the blizzard of 93.
Yeah.
And I immediately remember, like, it was 3 days
Mm.
trapped in a house, 12 years old. Like, it was, like, to the point where, and I think one of my friends was spending the night. And so we were literally, it was like me and a friend trapped in the house for 3 days, and the food is just diminishing, and you can't get anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, this was not a casual snowstorm. And so I was looking outside, and it's so beautiful, and it's sunny, and you're golfing, and that blizzard, like, that was March. That was
Yeah.
March.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a few in high school, like March, April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost even want to say there was a day that it snowed in May because I think that there was a Mother's Day weekend in high school when
Yeah.
it snowed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember.
Back in the 90s. Yeah.
I think that was a blizzard. I was about 4 years old, and I threw my brother's teddy bear out the window. Wow, I was
Why?
really in my astrology sign in that moment.
Just, you were mad at him.
Yeah.
You were like,
I'm going to take his most precious possession
love
at
this.
4 to 5 years old, and I'm going to chuck that shit out the window.
Damn.
Okay.
Went
about
whoop
gangsters.
right down in the snow. Looked out the window.
So
I did one
you
of
know,
these.
When I see the sunshine outside in March in upstate New York or New Englandish area, I'm like, oh my God.
I
It's
know.
Spring. It's spring.
Well, this is what I was thinking about this yesterday because coaching baseball in Vermont, it was always like we weren't even outside until April. Like the second week in April is when we started having games. We couldn't even be outside then, but practices started in March. In Jersey, first day of tryouts was always on March 8th. That first week we were inside. By the middle of March, though, it was like this, and we're outside. Yeah, so that's one of the few things I miss about New Jersey. It was a little
bit warmer.
A little bit warmer. Spring came a little bit earlier.
Well, it's
Never have I
getting-
ever
it's
heard
creeping up
anyone
here.
say what they miss about New Jersey.
New Jersey was Phoebe's favorite state for a bunch of years when she was little.
Really?
Yeah, we would go down to our friend Elena's family's pumpkin party and we would stop at Hot Dog Johnny's, and she would declare New Jersey was her favorite state, and it was like,
It's amazing.
girl, I gotta take you in this world.
Take you other places. Yeah. We
Yeah,
always
and
went to the beach every
New
year
Jersey's
there.
great.
Yeah.
It's funny to think about kids having like favorite states.
I know.
And they
Right.
do. I mean, like, I remember Ohio was my state. I don't know
Really?
why. I was
Wow.
obsessed with it.
Huh? Was
weird.
it just like Ohio?
I don't know.
I
Fun
don't.
to say.
I don't think I had one.
I don't think I had one either.
No.
Didn't have a favorite state.
No.
Didn't have to do like a favorite state, book report or something.
No.
Research project
I
with
did-
some
One of those trifold
construction
boards where you,
paper.
like,
construction paper covers on your report.
I did one research project on penguins.
oh, I did one on the gibbon.
I loved penguins. Happy Feet. Oh,
I don't think that I did ever any kind of animal report.
That was 6th grade for me.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So the spring equinox.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
you
we're full
you
of
wore an
tangents
appropriate
today.
shirt
Yeah.
today. That feels very springy.
Yeah, it's a wishful thinking shirt because it's
Yeah.
going to be in the mid 60s, but I think by the time I'm done being outside, it will be colder.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I don't know. I'm trying to channel in this type
Call
of
in.
weather.
Channel it in,
Yeah,
Matt.
I need it.
I like wishful thinking clothes. I feel like I wear them all winter long.
Wait.
Your
Well, for you,
sandals.
it's wishful thinking footwear.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what happened the other day. I had my Birkenstocks on, and by the time I was coming home, it was fine in the middle of the day. It was not fine at 7:00 at night. No. Yeah. I mean, I love equinox time of year. Like, I think about how suddenly different it feels once you cross that threshold towards the end of March. And it does, even if it's a delusion, it does actually feel like, okay, we can actually experience the sun coming back, the getting to be outside more, getting to have fresh air.
There's
all
some
those
times during that winter I never think I'm going to see it again.
Like it's gone forever.
It's
gone forever.
I'm
Well,
never
it's-
going to listen or never going to feel the warmth of the sun.
Ever again. The sun coming back was a big one for me this past week. I go to a friend's house every Monday for dinner, like every Monday pretty much, regardless of what's going on. And I was there this past week, and I'm like standing at her kitchen window, which I've stood at for months now, looking outside, and I'm like, when did that tree branch come down? She's like, December and I was like, oh, but it's been dark. It's
Yeah.
been dark at 6:00.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, and then another friend came over who's not there all the time, but like semi-frequently, and she asked the same thing. And I was like, lights back. We can all see
we
again.
can see things in the yard now.
I think it was the week before the shift is when things get really funky. It's like everyone in the house is at their what might feel to me like their lowest.
Their darkest
Wow.
days.
I'm like, just wait for it. I
Yeah.
know
Right.
I know there's going to be a flip, and it's almost like a game now where like, okay, I'm waiting. And then all of a sudden everyone perks up
Yep.
and they're like, life is so great and the sun is out and I've just been waiting for this and I'm like, oh, we've made it. Like silently to myself, I'm like, we did it.
Yeah.
What I wonder, right? Because people want to get rid of daylight savings time, right? Like it's been back and forth for so many years. But would we not get that hit? Like, would it just, I mean, is there something to it, even though we hate it?
Well, which time would it be if we got rid
Well,
of it?
that's another argument, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
hopefully
it
they
would-
would
right.
stay
It would
with
it would
the
have to be like
summertime
this, right?
Right.
But even then, like,
So if we didn't turn the clocks back,
Uh-huh.
we wouldn't have that sudden kind of like,
Yeah.
it really feels like a page flip.
it does.
Right.
Right.
Because technically daylight savings begins in autumn
Right.
and ends in spring. So we would not
I believe you.
fall back.
I just don't know.
Yeah, fall back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I just know that. I think because
Mm.
no, daylight savings, we're saving the daylight.
No, daylight savings ends in November. So it starts now and it ends in the fall.
Well, and this is the thing is I think that people,
How are we saving daylight though? No.
it's about the morning.
Well, I mean, if we're
Time,
saving
light.
it, there's more. The sun stays out longer in the day after that day. It doesn't set at 6:30. It sets at 7:30. So the daylight has more like. I'm not. What are you not
But
believing?
then in the morning,
Right.
in the morning,
Right.
It's later.
True.
I love
when
that,
the sun
though.
comes up.
Notice that
I love
I'm
all
not
that. I love
getting
the
in on this
summertime
conversation.
I'm like,
because
what?
I can't think about.
So it would stay this time.
Well, again, it's another argument. People go back and forth because I think that I've read an article years ago now because it's been a conversation for so long.
Right.
That was like they want to do it the wrong way according to like according to whoever it was like. So I don't know.
Interesting.
Well, that would just
When
mean
we
in
get
the
the hit.
fall and winter, the sun would set at 5:30 here, and not at 4:30.
Right.
And would that be better?
Then setting at 4:30 p.m. I mean, I'm always pro later sunset, just because I'm.
Right.
Apparently,
you
I'm like
have
the bad guy.
Because
from
as soon
Superman.
as the sun sets, the timer started.
Oh.
For sleepy bedtime.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I got it 2 hours after sunset.
Yeah,
and I
maybe
got,
2.5. You can stretch 2.5. After 2.5 hours after the sun is set.
Nope.
Oh, I'm
So
ready
that
for
is
bed.
very early in late December.
I'm
Yeah, I
always-
know.
Huh?
I
Yeah.
know.
6:30
Be
hits.
7:30, 7 o'clock
7
in
o'clock.
bed.
And Matt's like, how long do we have to wait?
Yeah.
It's
before
tricky
we
when,
could go to
when
bed.
you're in class.
Yes.
I often will take little tiny naps.
And I'm like, did you just take a nap at 7:15 at night? What?
We
What?
literally, Blair and I just had this conversation the other day. I'm like, if you take a nap, then it's like, you're going to be, it doesn't work out. And then he didn't take a nap and we hung out. And then I'm like, next time, please take a nap. And then he's like, well, you ruined my nap pattern because you wanted to hang out. And I was like, no, you know what? Next time, just take a nap.
Well, because he works swing shift.
yeah,
So that's
true.
This is the
Different.
second
So
time in
hard.
the past hour where I've seen a woman be upset at her person for falling asleep. Sounds like it.
I'm
mean-
going to assert again.
I need
But
a
it
certain
is-
level of attention.
Yeah, it's not the sleeping. It's that we're not also sleeping at the same time.
See, sometimes that's the best part.
Okay. Anyway,
Yeah, everything's blooming. I love to see. I thought of Deb D,
yeah,
right? And she posted a video
of her backyard.
of her backyard and look at these bulbs. Look at this in bloom.
Well, things are
You know,
starting
I
already.
thought that was sweet. So that's happening. We did the Google search like we do every year. When do you plant things? Even though we know, and when do you till the garden? So we went around the other day. It was really nice out and raked the yard. I say I'll be honest with you. I was just out there. I was out there. I think I was doing some Sahibi Kriya just on the concrete, and Blair was raking the yard.
It's okay because you were saving your energy for when you come rake my yard with me
Yes.
this spring.
Yeah. We will go ham on that yard.
Thank you, Bubby.
Yeah, it's planning time, right? It
Yeah.
feels like planning time. It even feels like,
Planning.
planning.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like the plan to plant, right, is closer than it has been,
Right.
Bless you.
excuse me, in years past.
Oh,
I can feel that early spring energy. And so when we think about it from the perspective of Ostara and the vernal equinox, and in some climates, yes, you can 100% start planting those seeds and putting things out to germinate and moving forward. And for others, it's we're still in that planning. It's what are we going to devote our attention and energy to over the next 6 months?
Yep.
And that's really what this time is all about. Is it's
Put
what
your seeds
are
on your
we
altar.
planting?
You could
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Mom likes to do a lot of magic around Ostara with eggshells.
Okay.
All right.
And so obviously there's an Easter tie-in that happens with the equinox, even though Easter's a whole month after
Yeah, it's April
the
20th.
equinox this year, but that moves around. Easter moves around?
Yep.
Yeah. So there's still that fertility abundance. And so something that's fun is Mom will take a half of an eggshell and she'll fill it with dirt and a seed, an actual seed of something she wants to grow, and put intentions into that dirt. And then when the ground is soft enough, you can take that little germinated seed inside the eggshell and you can plant it outside, and it has like built-in fertilizer.
Yeah.
That's cool.
For whatever your intentions are. So you can do it like really, Sabrina said put seeds on your altar, but you can like
Yeah.
actually plant seeds with other intentions besides like this is going to turn into a tomato.
I love that.
Do you want to know how they figure out when Easter is?
Yeah.
It has to do with Lent, right?
It's the first Sunday after the first full moon of spring, literally.
Oh.
So you go to the equinox,
Okay.
find the first full moon after the spring equinox, and then the Sunday after that.
How about
and
it?
since we're having a full moon now, it's going to be a while before.
Yeah. So we've oh, that's right. Yeah, because that means spring is Easter will be in April. Sometimes it's late March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Speaking
I
of
love that it's
eggs,
so witchy and tied to the moon.
I got eggs for $3 a dozen from the farmer.
Oh,
So that
wow.
was a total win.
Oh yeah, for locals, Green Star's eggs are still
Yeah,
the
yeah.
cheapest.
really?
$3.30, $3.40.
Oh wow! Because
For a
I went
dozen.
somewhere else the other day and it was $11.99.
Oh, yeah. Our egg spells are more expensive now too.
Yeah.
Egg prices.
Does that make them more
saying.
powerful?
Wow,
Check
shit.
your local farmers.
I'm
to
like,
get
why are we
those
talking about eggs?
Ostara,
Oh, right.
those Ostara eggs.
Who
Why are we
brought
talking
up
about egg prices?
Who brought up eggs?
Oh,
I'm just
yes.
circling back around because there's someone out there thinking like eggs. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean the egg shell. So
Did
you
anyone
crack
ever-
the egg?
Eggs, right.
You
Yeah.
eat the egg.
the egg.
You
Right,
keep
exactly.
the egg shell for the magic.
Exactly. Has anyone ever heard of taking the seed and putting it in your mouth and letting your saliva mix with the seed, and that it's
It's
supposed?
like a germination process.
Yeah, like it's supposed to.
You have.
You have?
You told me to do it one time with my pumpkins.
I don't know if it's true. Is it true? Is it not true? They say that that seed will grow and have everything, all the nutrients that your body's missing or something of that nature.
Oh, that's
I
interesting.
believe it.
I believe it.
I
I
like
believe
that.
it. It sounds like a good thing to believe.
That'd be a
How
good
did those
reel. And then you
pumpkins
walk in
grow?
and I have all these seeds in my mouth.
Did you do it with your pumpkin seeds?
Sabrina's like a chipmunk. Just like
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Garden prepping.
Did you do it with your pumpkin seeds?
Whatever I don't remember. I think I did because I'm like, this is the secret.
So
I didn't do it this year. I think I did it when we were still in Conlon Road.
I don't know. It's just something I've
We're
read,
doing
you
that
know,
back
around
there.
this time of year.
I love
like, I don't
that.
know if it's true, but
I love it.
You told me to do it.
I know.
Was this a bit? We were like, this I'm a bitch. We'll just believe it.
No.
it's like, let's see what we can get Matt to do today. Put these seeds in your
ooh,
mouth.
that's a fun game.
I mean, I can nearly get you to
Which
do
is
anything,
unite.
I feel like I can get you to do most things.
Okay, we haven't done the finger thing in a while. Can we do the finger thing? There we go. It's happening. There we go.
Okay.
Okay.
There's no fighting this train. No fighting it.
I love you all.
Yeah, so
Well-
speaking of planning, is that so like yeah, I actually feel weather-wise now, it makes sense to sit down and be like, we can plant these things here, this stuff here. We can do it 2 months ago or a month ago, and I'm like, why are we bothering? We're never seeing the sun. This
Yeah.
is futile effort. Why?
And now hope is returned.
And now
Yeah,
I'm
but
like,
you
Hope
have a
springs
very
eternal.
specific, like, event horizon.
It's true.
So if you've decided that something is beyond the horizon that you're willing to look at for a particular,
yeah.
That's the
Like
word
you
I just
send
read,
Matt
horizon.
a comedy show that's in June that's already basically sold out, and he goes, ignore. And I'm like, sir, you actually have to plan for things.
Yeah, that's true.
It's so far away.
I mean, like, if it's August and anybody says anything about Thanksgiving, he's like, not answering this
Can't
text,
do it. Can't
not
do
talking about it.
Which
Yeah.
is not usually. Does that happen often?
Well, but also, like, Thanksgiving happens every year on the same freaking day. You
It's
don't,
also true.
you don't
also
have
true.
to make special concessions for it.
It's
Well-
pretty regular.
Sometimes with your event horizon, though, I just like move forward and then I let you know as it gets closer when I know that you can hear
The
about
plans
it.
have been made.
That's
what
a
we're doing.
pretty decent way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, man,
Yep.
marriage is weird.
Or
People
sometimes I'm like, remember when we talked about this?
Wow.
fucking knew you do that.
That's amazing.
I have been telling myself
What
that
really happened though? It's not totally a lie. Like
She just admitted to gaslighting you on recorded.
what really happens is like I'm just gonna use Jessica as an example because she's like probably the biggest culprit of like, let's do this thing. And then I'm like, okay, let me check in with Matt. And then I get as far as thinking about talking to you about it, but I know that the event horizon is too far away, so I'm not going to get an answer from you anyway. So then I imagine what that conversation would sound like a month in the future.
Oh my God. You
And-
literally make it up in your head.
And I make it up.
Oh my
but
God.
I'm usually pretty, like, I'm often spot on. It's rare if I'm like, oh, he's not going to want to do this, and then you actually want to do it. Like, I'm pretty good at being able to determine that.
I mean, I actually really appreciate this process since Matt ignores my
Right.
texts.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Fair.
I'm glad that you're having
Oh, wait.
conversations in
Oh,
your
wait.
head with him.
Yep.
He ignores your text too. I
Yeah.
don't feel bad then.
He ignores
don't feel bad.
everybody's text.
When did you
Okay.
text me, Sabrina?
Well, I don't know. I Slack you.
Oh.
And I'm like, Matt really hates me. But then I'm like, that's not actually
he doesn't
true.
respond to messages.
I was like, this is not true.
he really,
I
It's just
don't.
he
totally
really
fine. Yeah.
I respond
he
to
can
them.
work on
I
that.
run
Yeah.
drafts in my head before I respond. And then
Yeah.
I'm like,
And then it's like
I
you already had the
forgot.
conversation. It feels
Right.
like you already had the
Exactly. We had
conversation,
the
right?
conversation.
Yeah.
the
So
other person's
just so you know,
clueless.
when you do that, I hear you.
I don't.
Okay.
I hear you through the waves.
I definitely don't. So,
So-
I would
you
like a
don't hear him
response.
because you sometimes translate it to Matt hates me and doesn't
no,
respond
no,
to my
but then
text.
then I pause with it, and I'm like, okay,
not true.
I see.
So I don't want to lose the thread of honey has been done like, oh, I come to you and say, we never had this conversation. And you say, yes, we did. And I never believe that we did. And it turns out I think I'm
That's not
right
what
a
happens.
lot.
I don't straight up gaslight you like that. Like, if you're like, we never had this conversation, I'm like, we probably didn't. And a decision had to be made. So
See, now if you just
do
said,
you want to go to this thing that I think that you probably will be okay with going to? Or are we selling a ticket?
Hilarious.
if you had just said, we didn't have this conversation, but I went forward with it anyway, that's fine.
That's definitely happened.
Yeah, but there's also like, I say, we didn't have this conversation. Or you didn't
She's
say
like, I'm
this.
pretty sure we did.
You didn't say this to me. And he said, yes, I did. And I'm like, well, then
I
you
would
need to say it out
never
loud.
Say
It's-
that no. Sometimes I will say a thing,
Mercury's in
and you pocket veto.
retrograde.
Sure.
You non-respond,
Great.
and I'm like, fine. And then I go off and have my own conversation with you in my head.
So
So when I say we talked about this, what I mean is I said this out loud, and you pocket vetoed, and we didn't have a further conversation.
There's no follow up.
Right.
Right.
Which
I love this because I thought you were going to go. I thought you were like, let's get back to the topic at hand. Spring equinox, and you're like, let's get back to the topic at hand.
Uh-huh.
you
My
guys
wife lying to my face for years.
Gemini,
no.
Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. They say would be the most affected by this.
Spring equinox.
Gemini,
This-
Virgo,
well,
Sagittarius, and
this
Pisces.
energy.
This time period.
Yeah, this energy
The
right now.
eclipse energy or the
Yeah, the eclipse energy.
Well, the eclipse season
In-
goes for
in-
like the next month.
yeah
yeah, in
so-
combination
with the equinox.
with the or
Okay.
with the blood moon, rather.
The blood moon.
Yeah.
It's like it's coming back into balance also, and it's allowing like anything that's shaking out now with that eclipse energy coming right before equinox Ostara energy is like, what do you need to purge to be able to grow what you want to grow?
Plant the, to put the new stuff to grow.
You know, it's a little bit, I mean, blood moon could be like a little bit of burn the field so that there's more nutrients in the soil, and so
Maybe
that
ash.
things, you know, like
Yeah.
like what can you kind of
So when we make our little eggshell offering thing, should we put a little ash in there too?
that'd be a good idea.
Little
Oh,
ash.
that's a good idea. Mars in Cancer encourages us to act from a place of emotional courage. Got that going on.
You know what I'm
My
realizing?
Mars is in Cancer.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
It is.
interesting.
Well, Mars is direct now, so that's like one thing that
One
One
less
less
thing.
thing.
one less.
One less thing to worry about.
What I'm realizing is that whatever is going on in nature, obviously, like I'm finally putting all these pieces together, it's just like it mirrors spiritually, metaphorically. Like we are getting ready to literally see what we want to plant and getting ready for that. And it's around the equinox. So like whatever you got going on in yourself, what do you want to plant? An intention, or what do you want to get rid of and clear so everything is ready to plant?
Totally.
I'm drawing those parallels. We've only had about 70,000 of these conversations, so it'll land eventually.
Well, I mean, when I think about how spirituality evolves with human beings and like the human mind and our search for understanding and meaning and meaning making as humans. Like we're just looking around for explanations as to what was happening and ways to kind of like bring it all into the sacred.
And we didn't have cell phones.
Right.
To scroll and distract us. We had to
We were like,
look at nature.
I also think the more that we're in consistency with ourselves and trying to keep that, equanimity within ourselves, our energy, working with whatever practices we're doing. I mean, to me, that's why we do what we do. So then we get to this energy. It's not like, oh shit, everyone is crazy. And, like we're going through all of this wave of heavy or dense energy that we're like, what do I do with this? What do I do with this energy? I feel like I don't have to ask that anymore because it's just a consistency of flow. Anyone else?
Well, no.
What
would the practice be for this time of year? Like if you were to like bring it into Kundalini or Ayurveda or...
I mean, right now because of the retrogrades that we're having and, we are thinking about like what we're planting, grounding energy is needed more than any kind of like, I think sometimes people think like, oh, springtime immediately, like let's hit the ground running. But springtime on the heels of full blood moon eclipse season, Venus retrograde, Mercury retrograde, like all of those things happening, it's like, don't actually even worry about what is next. Pause and ground. Pause and ground. Like get really conscious of being in the present moment and everything that's happening in this present moment and feel deeply connected and within that so that you can move forward from a place that isn't going to feel like a highway to burnout. Right. So that's what makes this spring a little bit different. And I think, a lot of times the sun comes out and we start, we have longer days and we're like, what's on my list?
How much can we fit in the day?
Yeah. We've had that cabin fever, but with that eclipse energy and eclipse season and then the things we're experiencing in retrograde, like some of the most powerful practices are going to be the practices that bring us into stillness. So the meditations that bring us into quiet and stillness, the practices that help us just let our bodies pause for a little bit in Shavasana afterwards and not jump, because there will be time more so in April where things start to shift and lift, that it's like, okay, now let's hit the ground running and let's be able to sustain this energy all the way through harvest season.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're doing that, then I can at least tend to get a little anxious, a little too vada, a little too swirly with it.
Well, and we're in direct contradiction, right? Because the spring energy is to move. If you look at like traditional Chinese medicine and the wood energy, like there's a lot of like movement and like I feel like a spurt of bursting growth type stuff. And so like then you throw the eclipses in and then there's this contradictory energy that makes it so much harder.
I feel like every class I've been doing, I love that movement where you come up to stand on the knees and you're opening, like you're blossoming, and then you're going back down into baby pose or child's pose. That's really, I notice every time this time of year I pull that one out and it feels like we're doing exactly that. We're expanding and we're contracting, and when we expand, it's just enough, right? We don't need to expand and then do all of the things. We can be like, okay, we're here. Greet the sun. I'm here. And okay, now I'm going to practice, because it's a lot going from being inside all of the time for some of us maybe, and going inward, being inward, a little bit of that hermit, that hermit card. And then like you had said, now let's go do all of the things. And then, like I said before, it gets me a little vada. It gets me a little anxious. And then I do need those moments of stillness.
Well, and anytime we're changing seasons, Vada's going to get kicked up.
Yep.
And, want to push us to do the next thing or feel frustrated when things aren't moving forward. Like that's another energy that can be present during the equinox and these eclipses that we're having, is that, but I've been waiting You know, like
Yeah.
when I've been waiting all winter, or I've been waiting through this time where I don't feel very creative, or I don't feel like I can execute something I'm curious about because I just don't have the energy. And then we get this little hit of energy and it's like, oh, I've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
Right. So it makes total sense. It's just, it's like pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, to
mostly
understand that-
because you want your gas to last.
Everything is unfolding the way that say should. Everything's unfolding the way that it's meant to.
Yeah.
You
So-
know what I was thinking about?
What were you thinking about?
Well, mainly how like when I think of the energy that's present in a season, what we really need to do is focus on the opposite to help like the balance, right? Like, because this is spring, it's like what's, I don't know if this ever existed up here, but if there's a phrase about the month of March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't know how north this thing went, or what's the
Well,
in like a
what is
lion,
that? Can you-
out like a lamb.
what is it?
In
Yep.
like a
Or
lion.
in like a lamb, out
Yeah.
like a lion. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just how it's like very windy at the change of seasons, and like,
like a
be
lion.
conscious of what can you do to be grounded in that time, not like get swept up in the busyness of like, oh my God, it's spring, I gotta move, I can finally move now, which is like I'm as hermit as they come,
Right.
But I also get antsy. I'm like, I'm ready to move.
We
once
do the
this kind of
spring
weather
cleaning
happens,
thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you just do a little bit at a time.
You know what? That, and I was thinking about how like human patterns mirror like the seasons. Like this fall and the spring is like the plant everything, then harvest everything.
Yep.
And then summer and winter are both like the slow, like summer's really in like agricultural, or like I'm thinking farmers in like the Middle Ages or whatever. It's like not a whole lot to do.
Yep.
Right, the
'Cause
plants are
it's-
doing the work. Is the
Right.
point. You're
Yeah.
just,
And
like,
then
doing a little late tending.
right. And
Yeah.
then same thing in the winter where it's like there's not a whole lot to do. It's like those are like the grounded, earthier seasons, and then like the spring is like naturally vata and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, does
So
anyone
cool.
It
notice
is
like
cool.
any music choices changing with the season change?
Oh, this always happens
Yeah?
to me. Always.
Yeah, me too. That's what I'm
Not
just
you.
questioning.
I don't listen to music.
Yeah, every time you say that, I'm like, I don't believe you, or like,
No,
how
she
could
really-
that be?
she really-
I know it's true. I'm
doesn't?
just every time I hear it, I'm just like,
know.
I've got some really good music going on lately, and I feel like it's got that little pep.
Do you have like a genre that drops in around this time of year where you're like, oh, the sun's out, so I'm going to turn on.
It's like, well, yes. I mean, it's always like the Dave Matthews Band
Totally.
that gets
Yep.
going on in the car, that kind of thing, and then it morphs into, John Mayer with the Grateful Dead. But I've recently been enjoying this upbeat spiritual vibe music,
Yeah, bring it.
Beat
and I'm like,
spiritual vibe music.
and it reminds me of like, I don't know, when I'm like 23 or something, and
of
I'm
course.
driving, and it has like the beat of like some hip hop almost music, but it's like it has
It's got
some
a
like
drum line, it's got some
ethnicity to it
percussion.
as well, and with the voices, and I feel it, and it feels soulful and upbeat. And I'm just driving along. These two are looking at me because I sent them the list. I'm like, send me the song that you listen to.
Wait, what? Where did you send that?
You
sent
sent one song.
I sent the whole album. Oh, maybe I didn't have good
I think
service
it only
or
sent one
something.
song.
Gotcha.
I missed the instructions.
oh,
Oh.
yeah.
There was
I'm
no
like-
instructions. There was one song.
Okay.
And you
Just
saying,
sent a
I'm-
song.
I love this song right now.
Okay.
And I listened to it.
Is
and I
that
was
how you
like,
hear my
okay.
voice?
I feel like I remember that,
love
but
this
I
song right
didn't
now.
remember like you
I
need to
love
respond
this
to this
song.
text with also a song that you love right now.
It was.
That
So
was
if
not
that
instructed.
was
It not
instructed,
instructed.
I was
You guys only
not-
read half of what I said.
I'm
Just
not
admit
True.
it.
I read everything. Also, I want to clarify. I like music. And
I'm like, we're going to a concert.
we're going. I go to concerts.
You went to
I
a
went
concert last night.
Like, I like music and I like songs, and I would be able to name songs that made me think of seasons, but I don't listen to music.
You like live music.
Sure. I like music on the radio too. If somebody else puts it on, like it never ever occurs to me
Wow.
to turn on music.
It never not.
So what have
occurred.
you
know.
what have
I
you been
know.
listening to, Matt and Jeannie?
Yeah, I definitely can't not have music on. Like, it's even in my, like, never in your house.
Never.
This morning when I was getting ready, I was like, oh, I left my phone in the other room and I wanted to listen to music, but I was like, what am I going to turn music on for like the 10 minutes it's going to take me to get ready? And so I didn't go get my phone, but like I constantly am like where's the closest speaker and how do I turn it on something that's relevant? Like in the kitchen, sometimes there's different music happening in the living room than there is happening in the kitchen in our house.
That is not untrue.
Yeah, like if you're in the living room reading, you're
yeah.
listening to like whatever genre music goes with the book that you're reading thematically.
True.
And I'm in the kitchen and it's like cooking music or like
I think to do like Cole Porter 1920s type music that does hit in like April and May.
It does.
I don't know if it's because we watched Midnight in Paris and it was warm when we first watched it, or like I just associate it with warmer weather because no one's wearing like a coat, so I just associate it with spring.
When we lived in Hoosick Falls, that porch on that house, like this was this Victorian brick house and there was a wraparound porch and the side porch we had like basically a table and chairs that we played games on. The second it would get warm, and we would play Cole Porter on the porch because it was like your neighbors are gonna hear whatever music you're playing, right? So we're like, you know, what is a
like neutral,
what's a friendly neutral sound that could be in the neighborhood where there's a daycare 2 doors down?
Right.
You know?
right?
But I also
House is a silent tune.
Literally, I was at Jess's the other night, and you know, teaching up here on the weekend, so I stayed over, and I was like, "Is she home?" Like after Sunday class, I'm like, "Is she home?" And I go downstairs, and she's just like reading. Oh, hello.
Is that how she sounds in
I was
your
like,
head? Oh, hello. Reading a book.
Just reading a
Sit on my
book.
couch and read books.
In silence.
And I was like,
Silence.
oh shit, this is what we're doing. Okay.
She read a chapter.
I read a chapter.
She read a chapter.
I was like, I guess
Have you
this
read
is
any
what
more?
we're doing. I read a chapter. No, I read a chapter, Jessica. We're not talking about
Okay.
I mean, I'm with you on the Dave Matthews music that comes on this time of year. And then I'll like, if it actually is warm enough where windows can be open and the sunroof can be open, it's reggae music. Like immediately I want to listen to reggae.
That I would say summertime.
Yeah.
Like end of May, once it like summer really starts,
Yep.
that's when the reggae happens.
Yeah.
I love it. I don't really listen to reggae on my own, and I never thought to, but every time you put it on, I'm like, this is awesome.
It's so happy.
It's groovy.
It's
That's
so
great.
happy.
Happy.
It's so happy. And then lately, because spring is funny, right? Like one moment it's sunny outside, the next moment it's raining, it's cloudy, it's gray, whatever. I found this station on Spotify that I listen to if I'm driving in by myself, not when Matt's in the car, or when I'm driving home, and it's called 90s Lesbian Coffee Shop.
Oh, that's
so good.
fun.
Like Jewel and
it's like Sarah McLachlan.
Everyone who ever headlined.
Melissa Etheridge, Katie Lang, Indigo
good.
Girls. Like, it's so good.
If you headlined a Lilith Fair,
yeah.
it's on that playlist. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are Lilith Fair playlists, but they tend to be like more heavy on the sad than like.
Have you been to a Lilith Fair?
Okay.
I love sad
That was
music.
a serious question. I wasn't being sarcastic.
No,
Me too.
Oh,
I
okay.
never went to Lilith Fair.
Me either.
Just wondering.
No. Saved all my
Bring it back.
concert-y monies for Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
And
Bring it back.
fish.
And fish.
Yeah.
See, now when the spring hits, like when I could drive with the windows down, that makes me want to listen to this heavy metal band called Powerwolf. Only because I discovered them and it was springtime. So now this was like
It's true.
it had to been almost 10 years ago, and maybe more. And it just came up into Pandora, and then every year since, it's like, oh, the weather's nice. I'm going to listen to Powerwolf. Yeah. So it's actually become my almost default Easter music.
Your Easter
only
anthem.
because those two things
Wait a
overlap.
second.
They just overlap. So I was like, oh, it's Easter time. I'm going to listen to Night of the Werewolves by Powerwolf. And it just that's the synapses fired in my brain, and now they won't unfire.
I feel like we have to close this episode out with that. Like that has to be the
yeah,
the end
just share a
music.
little
It's
sample.
Powerwolf.
Oh, can I do that?
Powerful.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
can do that.
I think if it's under a certain amount, we're not monetizing our podcasting.
Nice.
So.
Then yeah, we're going to.
Do
Sorry,
it.
sorry, Josh, for the outro this week. Any other stuff to do for the Equinox? Like any other like? Sometimes I find like here's a random thing to do on a full moon, or here's a random like witchy type thing.
I mean, it is like Sabrina mentioned briefly spring cleaning, but from like a witchy perspective, something I would say you can do is like pull together a more spring energy simmer pot. So, some dried flowers, if you still have them, roses, like rose, lavender, and then add in a little bit of citrus. So like bergamot, lemon. And then once your simmer pot has been, kind of going for a bit, you turn it off the heat and you strain everything out of it. The water, you wash all of the doorways and entry, like any place where there's an egress or an ingress, like people are walking in and out of, and then any doorway, even if there isn't a door in your house. So you're just kind of clearing out all of the thresholds. You're clearing out any energy that's stuck so that your house can be more balanced energetically.
Nice.
I like that because I don't think this is necessarily one of them, but I was like picturing like sweeping out the doorways, just like
Yeah,
sweeping out the
that
doorways.
came to
Yeah.
my head. I
Like,
didn't
yeah.
know when that was supposed to fit as far
the
as.
stale energy out, and I think probably like opening every window
Every window
Like, if you can-
that you
even
can.
for like a half an hour. or
Take your
something, right? Just, like,
chimes.
letting
Take
all
your
the
chimes
windows.
or your bells around the house. That's something that I enjoy doing when I open the windows. Help the energies sweep out.
Well, we have to remember that like where the word threshold comes from is like there actually used to be in doorways leading in and out of different rooms and in and out of homes, there would be a bunch of hay. Like people would use it for insulation around like the doors, just kind of keeping the cold air out. And then also it kind of acted as like a way to, we have to remember how many, that once upon a time, how many animals also used to
Lived in the
be in the
houses.
house. So if your cow is going to walk into your living room,
I wish.
you want its little feet to go across the
It's
threshold,
like a little doormat.
and it's like a little doormat.
Doormat.
So in the springtime, when everything is now getting to go back outside, you would then clear out the thresholds. You would sweep them out. You would get rid of that old energy.
I found a TikTok account where it's a guy, and they're short videos, but he just tells these random stories that explain the origin or name of things.
I love that.
So, like that just sounds like that would be. One was a group of sailors in England in like the 1880s were going to go meet the Queen, and they needed to look fancy, so they discovered a type of coat, but then they're like, I want all of my men to have this type of coat. I want it this color, but I want you to cut it a certain way. The men on that ship, the HMS Blazer.
Okay.
That's why it's called a blazer.
Okay.
Blazer.
Yeah.
The
That's
blazer.
fun.
Yeah, lots of
So
Blazers
fun.
are sexy.
They really are.
Blazers are sexy.
I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah. So hot.
How much I care for a blazer.
that. I'll wear one next week, and then I'll change your mind.
Oh, nice. I'll be like, damn,
Okay.
my bad.
Do you have a blazer?
All right.
Yes.
You know what? I'm gonna wear a blazer next week
I'm an
too.
adult
I
man.
want to
Of
be
course I have a
surrounded by
blazer.
blazers next week.
All right. Well, I am going to go home and clean the thresholds with plant water.
Simmer pot water.
Simmer
And
pot water.
what are we doing, ladies?
I'll do the
'Cause
cleaning if you make the simmer pot, because I love when you do that. It's
Yes.
so amazing.
I feel like it's a good time just for self-care, tuning in. Journaling's really good. Daily practice. Today we have a sound bath happening after this, so I'm really excited about that.
For us.
For
just
us.
FYI.
Oh,
Just,
yes,
this
for
is
us.
private sound bath.
Yes.
To be
But we-
very clear.
We did have one in membership this month, and we have one at the studio at the end of the month. So
If anyone's listening, go find
It's
your
happening.
own gongs.
go ring your
Find
gong.
your own sound bath.
Oh, there it goes. When my sound just kicked back on. Okay.
Nice. So
all-
I love talking about the theoretical and practical.
Happy Equinox.
Happy
blessings.
Equinox. Happy
Equinox.
Let's
Join
all
us.
return to balance.
Let's join us next week when we are talking about, the topic is emotional intelligence.
Ooh.
Emotional intelligence.
Okay.
Yeah.
next
EQ.
week. So for the Wi-Fi pod, this is Matt.
This is Jeannie.
Jessica.
This is Sabrina.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.